A warning can sit inside a council file for 27 years. It can name the right slope and describe the right danger. Still, nothing outside that file has to change. That is the hard lesson inside the Mauao Landslide review. A danger becomes managed only when somebody owns the next action. On 22 January 2026, heavy rain fell across Tauranga. Almost 300 millimeters arrived over 2 days. 42 landslides were later identified across Mauao. One reached the Mount Maunganui Beachside holiday park before 9:30. 6 people lost their lives there. The holiday park was owned and operated by Tauranga City Council. An external review later called the tragedy preventable. It did not say the slope was a hidden danger. Expert reports had described risk around the campground since 1999. The mystery is therefore not how nobody knew. The mystery is how knowledge failed to become protection. To understand that, picture a report arriving inside a large organization. A specialist writes it for one project. The report may also affect land, buildings, visitors, and emergency planning. Those responsibilities can sit in different teams. Each team may believe another team is handling the danger. The report then has readers, but no owner. That difference matters more than it sounds. A reader can understand a recommendation. An owner must decide who acts, when action happens, and how completion is checked. Without that chain, a warning becomes information instead of work. The Mauao paper trail shows this change happening slowly. Consultants recommended a trigger action response plan in December 2023. They recommended one again in June 2025. Its purpose is simple. It connects a measured warning to a prepared action. Rain reaches a set level. Groundwater appears where it should not. Muddy water begins flowing from a slope. Each sign moves the site into another response level. That level tells named people what to do. They may inspect, restrict access, close a road, or evacuate a site. The decision is prepared before pressure arrives. On Mauao, that plan had not been implemented by the fatal morning. This was not one forgotten piece of paper. The review described a missing system around the paper. No person had been given clear ownership of the risk. Responsibility was not clearly transferred or recorded. Recommendations were not tracked until completion. The issue was not pushed upward when work remained unfinished. Every sentence describes a small administrative gap. Together, those gaps created a hole large enough for danger to pass through. The final hours make that system failure painfully real. The review found several missed opportunities to clear the affected area. It examined the 24 hours before the landslide. Under a suitable response plan, rainfall alone would have triggered evacuation. Observed muddy water would also have triggered evacuation by itself. The review concluded that clearing the area likely would have prevented those deaths. This finding deserves care. Other investigations remain separate from the Council's external review. Those included a government inquiry, police, WorkSafe, and the coroner. The external review did not place blame upon one worker. It described a system where a serious risk could remain between teams. That is why the lesson reaches beyond Tauranga. Councils across New Zealand carry several roles at once. They own land and buildings, they operate public facilities, they regulate development and plan for emergencies. One place can touch all those duties, yet an organization chart separates them into boxes. Nature does not respect those boxes. Water crosses property boundaries. Falling ground crosses departmental boundaries too. Good risk management must cross them first. The review made 10 recommendations aimed at that problem. One asks for a single accountable owner for every risk to life. Another requires risks to be recorded, raised, and formally closed. It also calls for one register of natural hazard reports. Scheduled monitoring and independent checks should follow known hazards. Populated sites should have response plans and trained frontline staff. These ideas are not dramatic. That is exactly why they matter. Disasters often expose failures inside ordinary handovers, lists, and meeting notes. A spectacular event can begin with an unfinished task nobody sees. There is also a lesson for ordinary residents. A hazard map or technical report is only the first question. The next question is whether anyone must act upon it. If your home, school, road, or campsite faces a known hazard, ask 4 things. Who owns the risk? What observation triggers action? Who has authority to close the place? How will everyone there receive the warning? Those questions do not replace expert advice. They reveal whether advice has entered a working system. Tauranga City Council later released hundreds of documents about Mauao. The paper trail was long. The protective chain was not. That is the idea worth carrying from this tragedy. Knowledge does not manage danger. A named person, a clear trigger, and a completed action can.